Sorcerers! Josh here, and today I want to start what I hope is going to be a new series about a tournament structure for Sorcery. Now, as we all know, Eric's Curiosa has been very hesitant to really give us any type of an official tournament format. How it should be run, the rules for that structure, all of those things. And so because Eric's Curiosa just has not designed a tournament structure, many of the big events that have been put on by the community have some different rules. And I feel like in order for Sorcery to grow and to have consistent rules across the community, we need to put some type of a tournament structure like that into place. Now, some of you may think, boy, don't you think a lot of yourself? You're going to try to make this yourself? Look, I'm not trying to make it myself. Just throwing out some suggestions. Maybe they work. Maybe the community likes them. Change them. I don't mind. I think that we need that we need a tournament structure that is being used at the many community events. So I'm just going to, over the course of a series of videos, talk about that. I don't know how long it's going to be. I'm not even sure all the topics I'm going to cover. But I want to get started with one thing that has driven me nuts. Tie breaks. More than anything else, the events I've been to, the tie breaks have been the thing that vary vastly. And I found it really annoying. Now, the big thing is these events, many of them had a top cut. And so because of that, they did not want to allow draws. Because individuals could, in theory, in the last round before the top 8 cut, or the top cut, say, hey, let's just take a draw. That way we're both in. And it's done. They did not want that. So wins and losses. No ties. So you got to have tie breaks. So that's the thing that I want to start with first. So tie breaks. The first one, the one that was consistent across the events, and the obvious one, life total. Whoever has the highest life total at the end of the round, if play has not finished and a winner has not been determined, whoever has the highest life total wins the game. Simple, straightforward, makes perfect sense. So, first tie break, life total. After that, that's when it just went bonkers. I've been at events where the second tie break was second player. I've been at events where the second tie break was sites on the board. All very different things. But for me, when I picture the second tie break, in my mind, because this is a story that we're telling, each game is a story, at the end of the round, in my mind, the barrier between our avatars and the realm hardens. We can't do anything anymore. And that means that in order to win, we must use the resources that are on the field. So in terms of the story, it's basically like we cannot use our magic anymore. We have no more magic that we can access. That deck, our spell book, is gone. Whatever happened, something changed in the realm. The barrier between, the magic and the realm hardened, and we can't get past it. Can't get any more resources. So you have to fight with what you have left. So for me, the second tie break should be the number of spells in the realm. Whoever has the most spells in the realm at the end of the game wins. So this basically means that you count up your minions, your artifacts, and your auras. Whoever has the most wins the game. I think that seems like a very simple solution. It does disadvantage certain types of decks, I admit that. But I feel like when I'm thinking about nothing else can be done, then we should look at what's left to contest the realm. And that's those things. After that, third tie break. Third tie break, we go to sites. Count up the number of sites. Whoever has the bigger realm wins. And I feel that that should come after the count of spells in the realm, because just because you have the biggest realm doesn't mean you have any way to protect it or to control it. If you don't have those resources, then having the bigger realm doesn't matter as much. Which is why I think that having the most sites is the third tiebreak. Finally, we get to what I consider to be the worst tiebreak. The tiebreak that I do not want to use. But because we want to have those big events with top cuts, we need to have an official tiebreak. And that tiebreak is the dreaded second player. Now, I'm going to admit, I hate this tiebreak. I hate it with all of my heart. Do not like it. Which is why I'm putting it at the very bottom. Because I cannot really think of any other tiebreak that we could add in between and maybe even push it lower. Potentially, you could consider something like number of spells left in the spell book. But based on the explanation I just gave about how I don't feel like we have access to that anymore, I didn't feel like that was a fair spell break to add. I also think that certain decks are going to draw much more heavily. They're going to, especially with the Thurian Legends, going to have a lot more manipulation of the spell book, getting stuff into the cemetery and then manipulating that. So a count of the spell book I didn't feel was fair. So that's why, unfortunately, second player is the fourth tiebreak, in my opinion. Now, this is just what I'm thinking. Maybe you've got a better idea. I hope you do, especially in relation to the second tiebreak, or the second player tiebreak. I just don't like that one. But assuming that we have to have some way to officially determine that there is a winner and a loser in every game, there's no ties. This is the fairest system that I've been able to come up with. So, just in review, first tiebreak is life total. Makes sense. I don't think anyone's going to object to that one. Second tiebreak, spells in the realm at the end of the game, which means your minions, your artifacts, and your auras. Maybe they add something in the future, but any spell that's in the realm at the end of the game, you count those up. Finally, or not finally, then the third tiebreak, sites in the realm, whoever has the most sites in the realm. And the fourth and dreaded tiebreak, second player. That's it for me. That's the first of this series. Let's see where it goes. I hope some of you like the ideas. If not, let me know. I'm happy to consider anything. But I think as a community, we all need to come together and create this system. Because Eric's Curiosa wants to be hands-off in that regard. And that's okay. So let's do it. Let's take up this torch and make it happen. So many members of our community have already done that by creating the events. Now let's create a tournament structure that we all can agree to, and that no matter what event we're going to, that's what's being used. So, that's it for today. We'll see how far this series goes. Keep on contesting the realm, and I'll talk to you all later.